Three different pictures?
Yes, it's
Thank
working
you.
now.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate it. In the background, I've got my wonderful wife and business associate. Thank you, Sarah. And sorry, guys, one small step. Technology, gotta love it. Anyway, I'm going to get going here, folks. We have a lot to cover today. This is Tourism Tim Warren, and you've come to the right webinar if you're looking to increase your leads, your website conversions, and your revenues. We've got some really, really exciting stuff to share with you, things that you can use tomorrow. So this is a workshop, folks. I need you to have a paper and pen and pencil out and be ready to take notes, because what I'm going to share with you today has been one of the secrets that has helped myself, my brother, and his business, and countless other tourism professionals around the world increase their bookings. So turn off any other programs that you've got cooking, and turn it off, and we will have Q&A. I'll stay as late and as long as you guys need to answer all your questions on this topic, but we're going to hold those to the end of the workshop. So let's jump right into this. So in case you're wondering, are you in the right place, and what sort of things are we going to cover? There's a lot of different businesses from all over the world, and so if you have any of these questions, then you are in the right place. And we got a lot of slides to cover, so I'm doing a slightly different format on my webinars, in that I've just got one central point per slide. So we're going to have a lot of activity on slides. So hey, if you want to increase your prospects on and offline, you're in the right place. You need to convert those prospects that are visiting your website into bookings, you're in the right place. Hey, are you getting web traffic? A lot, but you're not getting as many bookings or inquiries as you want? We're going to help you today. You might, if you're aware of what your competitor's doing, and you're wondering why are they getting more bookings than you, even though your product or pricing might even be better than theirs, you're in the right place. If you're kind of baffled about online marketing and effectiveness, and or even if you hate marketing or you're not a techie, perfect. We're not going to be doing anything having to do with technology or marketing. This, folks, this is really about the psychology of what gets people off their fannies to choose your company and book with you. No matter what size you are, no matter if you're starting or you've been around for 20 years, what we're going to share with you today will help you all. So those are some of the questions that hopefully that helps most of you qualify yourself as to who you are, and that you're in the right place. So the core thing is, folks, no matter how big you are or how small you are, if you are not generating leads that are converting into bookings, and on a consistent basis, and it's primarily through your website, you are going to be out of business. And so one of the key things that I'm going to show you is really about how to get more people to stick around on your website and have a higher rate of inquiries, which leads to sales. I'm going to show you guys how you're going to actually get more bookings and more profits and not have any more traffic. As Matt mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about the psychology of travel shoppers, and really what are the things that makes you a trusted brand that converts lookers into bookers. And this is a key element, folks, about if you're going to be in the tourism, travel, hospitality, attraction business, you have to understand what motivates people to choose you. And if you've looked at your Google Analytics, and you look at what's the average duration of your website, or more importantly, your bounce rate and how many people leave your site in less than 10 seconds, you'll be kind of shocked at how many that is. And so it's critical that you are able to experience trust, experience, and safety in less than 10 seconds. And remember those three words, folks, because that is going to be foundational to all of your marketing moving forward. So, and at the end of this workshop, I want to give you guys some freebies, and this is a self-assessment you can do right after the workshop, and kind of see, based on some of the top 10 areas that I know help make a travel website that sells, that converts more people, where you kind of stand. You're going to get a rating, and then you'll get some suggestions based on your rating. And at the end of this workshop is an ethical bribe, because I want you guys to stick around. Because if you don't stick around, you're not going to get the learning that comes from this. I will have there will be one winner of my Tourism Marketing Success course, Online Academy, and I'm going to throw in a personal VIP website review. And that's a $600 value practically, or you can go buy it. It's online right now, but I'd rather give it to you for free. So, whoa, what's happening here? Oh, I think I had this problem last time. So let me give you just a little bit of my background as to why I'm able to speak on this subject, and why I know that this works. So I've always been involved with the adventure, the outdoors, and business. And I did pursue a degree in international business, and I worked in a lot of different industries. And there was always these common denominators, no matter what industry I was in. It was entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, customer service, management. Most of my business and income was performance based. Now that is interesting. I'll have to fix that slide. My brother thought he was going to work for the airlines, and started flying people down to Baja in the late 80s to build hours and for surfing adventures. And before he knew it, he was getting calls from people he didn't even know that said, "Wow, Julio, my friend Julio went surfing with you. How do I go?" And so he started a fly-in surfing adventure travel company in 1989. And he, like most of us, got into it because he had a lot of passion, but he had no experience in this. And I started helping him at first, and we struggled. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know tourism. We didn't know marketing, but we had a lot of passion for surfing and flying, and it just seemed like a really good idea. So I knew we needed help. So what I started doing is studying, hey, what are the successful companies doing? And sorry about this, folks, on my PowerPoint, there's some weird animation thing going on that's causing the slides to jump. But so I believe in not reinventing the wheel. I like to go and figure out what other people are doing that's successful, and try to replicate it or copy it. And wow, and this is pre-internet, folks. This is in the late 80s and early 90s. And but applying what I was seeing in advertisements and advertising and positioning and product, and we were competing against some real big companies that are doing Mexico and Baja tourism, things started to take off. And as part of that, as far as, darn it, sorry about this, folks. Let's just bear with me. Technology, gotta love it, but sometimes it's a growth opportunity. I started going to travel trade events. I wanted to learn to connect. I wanted to create some more channels for distribution. I wanted to see what other people were doing in the travel tourism space, especially this adventure travel ecotourism space that we were in. And we were transitioned by this time from out of surfing into a adventure travel tours and an eco lodge that we opened up on the Sea of Cortez. But what I found is, like many of us trying to run a small business, of trying to wear the sales hat, the marketing hat, the operations hat, the staff hat, the product hat, the customer service, and on and on and on, which was my brother, and he was missing just tons of opportunities to really grow his business. I met all these people that were just like him, and realized that wow, I'd helped my brother started to grow his business, and things are really starting to take off, and that I could do this too. Oops, darn it. We have to be careful about the way the slides are going forward. So I started in 1994, decided that I'm just going to work on helping people like my brother, whether they were the startup mode, ops mode, or they were the full scale up mode, and focus on helping them grow their business, not only sales and marketing, but really every aspect of their business. And I've been really blessed. It's taken me all over the world. And it's always been focused on these areas, sales, marketing, management, and now it's come full circle, and we're helping businesses exit plan and sell their businesses too. I just want to let you guys know that I'm still involved with my brother. Boy, oh boy, I'm going to have to get these. I'm really, really sorry about this slide thing. I don't understand why they're jumping ahead automatically. It's what's happening. I'm still involved with my brother. This is our second Equal Lodge that we started on the Sea of Cortez, and I'm really proud that we are the #1 TripAdvisor specialty lodging, and that came from some of the things that I'm going to share with you guys today. Because of that, we get lots of inquiries, and more importantly, we get lots of bookings. And that snapshot was taken just about a week ago, folks. So these are some of the spaces that I've worked in. I used to have a big laundry list of the companies, but I decided to take them out because I want you guys to see that it's not. This is actually a nonprofit thing that I did with Richard Branson and one of our clients, connecting high-level entrepreneurs to entrepreneurs in Africa. And it was a mentorship program and that I was involved with. And of course, travel media, there's my podcast, and I've been involved with other, I've been associate editor of various magazines. And so I've got this poll going here, folks, and I've got to stop the show for a second so I can launch the poll. And let me see here, let me see, polling. I'm going to launch the poll. And as soon as my computer stops spinning here, and come on now, launch the poll. All right, so this should be the first poll. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Do the polls to get your answers in there. So yeah, I mean, this the bottom line, folks. No matter what you're doing, where you're doing it, how big or how small you are, whether you've been around forever or you're just starting up, if you're not getting leads and sales conversions, bookings, you're going to be out of business. So I'm going to end the poll, and let's just see where we're at. We haven't got a huge sampling today so far, so maybe I've lost people. Come on, there's 2 more people. Go ahead, throw your votes in there. Anyway, let me end the poll. So there you guys can, hopefully you guys can see the results, but website traffic you guys see is your biggest issue. Retention and turning leads to bookings coming in number 2nd and 3rd respectively. Oops, share results. Let me try that. Here we are. So that's not unusual. There's definitely some truth to having traffic. But I'm going to show you guys that it's a huge illusion that just having traffic is the answer to getting more leads and sales. So I'm going to go back. We're going to start the PowerPoint again, and let me see here. We're getting a spinning ball. Just bear with me. Yeah, and I see a chat here that website traffic is easy to get. It's true. It can be. You can buy it and you can target it easier than ever before in the history of tourism. But the reality is that if you're not converting that traffic and have all the traffic in the world, is that if it doesn't convert to a booking, you are going to be out of business. So we're going to keep coming back to the website because it is where all the action is. It's where everyone's doing their research. It's where they're doing their comparisons. And ultimately, it's what it is. It should be the place that people are showing up, and they're so compelled to enroll. They so appreciate that they're considering a fine choice that they choose you. So your website must be one of your top marketing tools. I don't care if you've been around for a long time, but if it's not, and it's not generating calls, emails, and bookings, you're going to be out of business, and that's the facts. Let's talk. Here's another fact. I just want to, folks, you'll find I'm politically blunt, and I get right to it. Yeah, I got a comment here from Sumari. It's the booking conversions at hard, and you're in the right place, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Is how to increase booking conversions. So here's the other fact. If we can just get, yeah, this is, you're going to keep hearing this theme that website traffic that without generating leads and bookings and this is the sad truth. And I have seen so many people. I've been a consultant in this industry over 25 years, and the worst thing for me is when I get emails or calls or comments on social media platforms I'm involved with, and people jumped into the business, they invested all this money in infrastructure and equipment and this and that and all the things you guys know it requires, and they didn't really focus on the marketing, and they didn't really understand the importance of converting leads to sales, and that they struggle and their dreams start to turn into a nightmare, and that sucks. And I hate to see that, and that's why I'm committed to being a teacher, to give you guys simple systems that you can use for online success, that you can apply not only online, but you're going to see how you can apply this stuff offline too. So, today we're going to cover one of about 10 specific areas that we've developed that have guaranteed, that have proven to help move that person to generate a lead or call and a conversion. So, and as I mentioned, we're just going to focus on there's one key aspect, and that's conversions, and what generates that, and what gets it going. So, in order to do that this is something I started about 10 years ago, and after studying countless, not only the websites I was involved with my brother and consulting clients, but really, and because I have access to a lot of people's Google Analytics accounts, and really studying what got them off their fannies and what really created a travel website that sells. Because you can, I'm not interested in lots of traffic, or even how long they stay at the site. I'm interested in generating calls, emails, and bookings, because that's what makes us money. You haven't got it, you're not in business. It's just that simple. So let me close something down here. Anyway, a travel website that sells is what's involved with that is. So yeah, I mean, that's it. It's very, very simple. It has to generate leads and bookings. And what I'm going to show you, which is really cool, is how you can do that without paying for more traffic or out worrying about SEO, because it's when you can do that, when you can actually convert a higher percentage of the people visiting your website into inquiries and leads. What it actually means is that especially if you're buying traffic, you're actually going to lower your marketing costs and your advertising cost. And there's a key performance indicator called a cost per acquisition, CPA, or you might call it a CPB, a cost per booking, is how much are you spending to acquire a lead, and how much are you spending in advertising to acquire a customer. And God willing, it's lower than your revenue that you're making from your website. So I've developed this system, and part of which I'm going to share with you today, so that you can spend more time booking and less time selling, and that you've saved money too on your marketing. So this is this is where you need to get your pen and paper ready, because I'm going to give you my three-part system to conversion, and specifically online on your website. And when you're doing that, to me, that's a success. So if you're in the tourism, travel, or hospitality business and you're booking more people, you're going to be a happy camper, believe me. And this has been behind, the results. This has really been part of the secret that has helped clients and people who work with, and people who had got my course or been in my webinars or trainings, that have actually helped people increase their sales 50%, 100%, 200%. And I'm going to show you some examples of how that works. So it's really, it's a three-part formula. And so here's part one. Part one, it's simple as, you got to have traffic. You know, you can have all the conversions in the world, but if you don't have any traffic, and these are actually quality traffic, people are interested in the types of products or services that you're offering. So that is key. You got to have it. But this is where it gets really interesting. Is what's happening with that traffic, and is are they sticking around? I mentioned earlier about bounce rate. How can you possibly convince someone that you're an awesome tour operator, an awesome lodge, or have got a great attraction if they're leaving your website right away? So you have to lower your bounce rate and increase retention. So you have to have traffic times, this is like a multiplication thing. So website traffic times retention, um, and then those people that are coming to your website and are sticking around longer are generating more leads and bookings. So that's conversion. So it's an exponential formula. So you got website traffic um, plus times website retention times conversion equals exponential increases in bookings and profits. And this is what it looks like. So you got to see, you got to think about this as it's one multiplied by one multiplied by another is where you get more traffic. And so let me show you this cool little tool that I developed to kind of give you guys a visual on what does this really mean. So I want you guys to see for yourself. The sun's coming in the window here. I got to close my blind. What does this look like to you? So here's a simple little website sales conversion calculator that I did. And so up in the upper left-hand corner, I want you, and I want you to see how slight improvements in lowering your bounce rate and increasing conversions could radically increase your profits, even though you have not had any change in your monthly visitors or your average sales price or profit per trip. So what we have up here in the top is let's imagine you're currently getting your current baseline position on your website, you're getting 1,000 visitors, and your bounce rate is at 70%. That means only 30% of the people are sticking around your website, and your sales conversion of those 30%, only 1 in 100 is actually booking. And let's say you have a sales price or profit of 500 bucks. What that means is you're making 3 bookings. Your current bookings is three a month, 1,500 gross, $18,000 a year. Not great, but hey, it's better than nothing. Now let's look at some slight improvements. Notice this is if you follow my lead on what I'm going to share with you, this is what can happen. Same amount of traffic. We've lowered our bounce rate only 10%. So I want to show you what conservative changes can do. And now we've increased our sales conversion rate 1/2 of 1%. So we're now booking 1.5 people per 100. And look, what's happened, we have doubled the amount of bookings, because what happened is you've got a higher percentage of people who are sticking around your website and can see your offering, and then a higher percentage of those are booking. It literally doubles the sales. So 18,000 to 36, not too bad, 100% increase. I would like that all day long. But guess what? It could get better. Let's look at the same thing again. Here's your same baseline thing. 1,000 visitors, 70% bounce rate, only 1% conversion rate. Now, this scenario is we've now lowered our bounce rate to 40%, which is very doable, and really where all of you guys should be. 60% of the people are now sticking around your website, and because some of the things that I'm going to show you and introduce you to, and now we're booking the phenomenal high rate of only 2 people per 100. So yeah, I want you guys to see these are not astronomical numbers. These are very real and quite conservative numbers. Same profit price. Guess, look what happened. We tripled our revenue. Now, instead of making 18 grand a year, we're making 72,000, just because we lowered our bounce rate and increased our conversion. So the reason I'm sharing this to you guys is I want you to see when you apply this stuff, the reality of how it can show up in your bottom line, because you cannot scale, you cannot add new products, you cannot do many of the things that other people talk about and preach in other courses that are out there unless you're increasing your bookings. So let's look at one more. And again, this is what is truly possible. And this scenario, we've now increased we've lowered the bounce rate has stayed the same. The conversions are the same, and excuse me, the sales conversion is now 3 in 100, and now we're booking. We've increased our sales revenue by 90,000. This is a 500% increase over the previous example. So I just want you guys to see that these are real numbers that are very doable, and instead of making 18,000, that you're making over 100,000. I don't know about you, but I like that a lot better. And I'm going to introduce you to a client of mine who in Alaska, who has had unbelievable competition and started off like most of us, small, know nothing about tourism, struggled. Then I started applying some of these tips that I'm going to give you that seem so incredibly simple, but have had profound impact on her business and really her quality of life. So we know that bounce rate is terrible and low conversion rates hurt and causes you to struggle. So let's look at what causes that. And then we're going to look at what you can do to change that. You're going to see in a moment here that how important trust is to being considered a source. I mean, think about it. When you're making a choice on a tour or product or even where to go out to eat, you're going to spend some money. You want to know that what you're doing is you're trusting the people that you're going to give your money to. Two, people, when they come to the websites, remember their attention span is minimal. They're not clear on what you offer and where. I've seen it way too many times in websites. Or they're looking for a particular tour or a particular time or particular difficulty rating or capacity or on and on and on. They can't find it. They're gone. Again, too much stuff. These are elements that convert to it, but I can assure you the trust is the biggest factor. Poor design. So I mean, design does matter, and how you lay things out, and how some of you probably heard about the UX, the user experience. It's key. It's not about you folks. It's about them. And at the end of the day, we're in a fun business, and your website better be interesting, entertaining, and but more importantly, educational, because people are looking to you to help them make the right decision, and they're looking for thought leaders and experts in that, to guide them on that trip, or to provide that experience, or to recommend a particular tour. So it's or educate them as to what might be around your area, and they're staying in your lodge. So these are some of the things. And last but not least, if your website is not mobile responsive, you are hurting yourself big time. And also, even if your site is optimized for mobile, if you haven't tested it on a mobile device or a tablet, you're hurting yourself, because what you might find is that your information is not being presented in the way you want it to be in the mobile version, and you can reconfigure it so the proper, most important stuff is showing up at the top of your mobile device, because although again, so that the visitors know who you are, what you're doing, and why they should choose you. A tourism industry website research study that was done by one of the leading online booking agencies this year had shared these numbers with me, and I thought it was shocking. Look how few people had a clear headline of what they did. Less than half had almost half did not have any testimonials at all, and people you can't find contact information. You're out of business. So let's really dig into this. All of this is kind of this setting the stage, folks, so that you can really understand when I share the tips with you and the tools that you're going to start applying to your online marketing, you really get the psychology, the information about really what moves people down that funnel and that process to becoming customers. And it really is in their minds, folks. This is psychology. And this is something you're not going to see many people talking about, because they're overlooking, they're all focused on traffic, or the best social media techniques, or how to this and that, and that's all important. But if you're not addressing the psychology of people, you're going to be out of business. Now I'm going to see if I can launch another poll here. This is I'm usually using GoToWebinar. We'll relaunch poll number 1. Okay, here we go. Let me launch poll number 2. So when you guys are thinking about making a decision, as I mentioned earlier, just a second here. I'm just getting a spinning ball here. Come on, computer, be good to me. Well, if I can't get this to work in the next 5 seconds, you guys know about the spinning ball, and essentially your computer is just a little overworked and tired, and it just won't quite do it. Come on, baby. I'm trying to get this drop-down menu thing to work, and it's just not working. Well, you know what? We can bypass that. Wait. Here we go. It's working. Just a second. Let me back up here. All right, so I'm going to launch the poll. So the question is, as you can see, when you're looking to make a decision on your travel, I hope you guys can see this poll. Okay, cool. You can. Is you know what? I don't care what it is. You're going on a tour. You're going to go to a restaurant. You're going to purchase a car. You're looking for a contractor. What is it you looked for information to make sure you're making the right choices? Because the same thing that you face is what everyone else faces. So come on, let's get the rest of the votes in here. Let's just a little bit more. Okay, keep going. Okay, it looks like we're almost there. Let's all right. I'm gonna end the poll and share the results. And so this is good news, and I think you're going to see something kind of interesting here. Is that that you can see the recommendations from people is ranked really high. Number 2 was branded websites, and coming in number 3 and 4, social media reviews and trade show exposure. So let me stop sharing the results. And we're gonna go back up here, and I want to share with you some global results of what others have happened here. Let me see if I can get my computer to stop doing the spinning ball. You guys can probably see that now. So what I wanted to share with you was the study that was done globally. Okay, come on, here we go. So Nielsen. So along the lines of the thing you just did, the actual survey, Nielsen, a global survey company, did 28,000 international people and asked them what was their most trusted form of advertising. So this is a huge sampling, and here's what came up. So I want you to see is that right at the top, we're going to focus on the top 3. So the green was trust completely somewhat, and don't trust much at all is the purple. So recommendations from people I know came in at 92%, very much in alignment with what you guys said. Consumers' opinions posted online. Guess what, folks? That's review sites. And then oops, let me go back. And then editorial content such as newspaper articles came in number 3. Branded websites was number 4. And then look at this list. Look how fast trust fell off. Even branded websites was only 58%. And so the vast majority of influence of where trust is happens in these top 2. I particularly, and so I focus primarily in these top 2 and utilize number 3 and 4 as part of our marketing. So the psychology of travel shoppers taps into those top three: the recommendations, reviews, and editorial content. So um, and what are recommendations from people that you know? The reason that it ranked so high is you know these people, and so it's about trust. Trust is the critical thing that makes that such a powerful form of influence and marketing. And I did not invent this, folks. Not only have I tested and seen the results in people's conversion bottom line, but here is a book I highly recommend people read if they have any interest in the topic of influence and persuasion, and really the true psychology behind this. This is written by a social psychologist out of University of Arizona, and was not designed to be a marketing book, but what he shared was so powerful, is that it became really the Bible of serious people in the business development and marketing world, because the results were very predictable about what moved people from the direction that you wanted them to move. So what I define this social proof is looking for others to guide our decision, and not only whether it's people recommendations from people you know, but number two, review sites. Aren't reviews nothing more than word of mouth advertising that people are they're sharing their opinions, they're sharing their recommendations online? This is why reviews are so powerful and influential. Mary, we're going to be doing questions at the end of this. Oh, did I stop sharing the poll? Oops, thank you. I see the poll. Do you think it has changed much since has exploded online? Okay, that's a good question. No, not at all. And if you read this book, you'll see why it's still word of mouth and reviews are the most influential forms of social proof. Hopefully that has answered that question. And as I mentioned, is this social media is literally hundreds of millions of people sharing their opinions and recommendations, and they are super influential. And they address what all travel consumers want to know in 7 seconds or less. This is something I defined years and years ago, especially being in the active adventure travel field mostly, and taking people and working with clients that take people to obscure places on the planet for ridiculous amounts of money. And this is what I know that all travel consumers and tourism shoppers want to know in 7 seconds or less. And maybe some of you heard me say this. Number one, someone traveled before them. Two, those people that traveled before them, they had a good time. And so the first one is about experience, and the second one is about quality, and the third one, nobody died. And guess what, folks? That's about safety. People want to know, consumers that are shopping for your trips, travel, tours, recommendations. I don't care what you're doing or where. They want to know you're experienced, that you have quality, you run quality operations and provide quality service, and that safety is a top priority. And you're going to see, in what we're going to share with you in just a second, about how to increase trust and clarity and experience and safety very quickly in your messaging. Something I'm really excited about, what I call the defining credibility statement, which I invented years ago, and we've tested all over the world. So again, we're going to keep coming back to this theme, and I know that I might sound a little redundant, but I really want you guys to get how unbelievably powerful this is in moving people from strangers into friends into customers. And so clearly trust is a key thing, and I'm going to give you one of the core tools that increase trust. Clarity in what you offer. It has to be super simple and clear, and right at the top. Helpful information. People want to know that you're an expert and that you're providing resources to them. calls to action. I mean, you need to invite people to get off their fannies and call you if that's your method of answering questions, those questions that people have before they book. Also, if you've got tours that have only limited capacity, as most of us do, and if there's only so many seats left and it's a trip that's leaving in 3 weeks or tomorrow, that is unbelievably powerful as a psychological motivational tool to get people off their fannies to book with you. Follow-up. How many of us have got trips that people have been thinking about for weeks, months, or even years? And so you need to keep that relationship going. And less sometimes is more on your website. So let's look at the how to create more trust and authority. And specifically those top 3 forms of trust and authority. So number 1, word of mouth. And it's key, and this is an important part of this process that you understand. Is we know that people trust recommendations from people they know, but this is a cross between word of mouth and social media. This is kind of where reviews come in. Is that it doesn't have to necessarily people you necessarily that you know, but also if they're like you, meaning that they like the same things, or they're the same sex, or they're maybe the same weight, or they're the same age, these matter. Review sites, very critical. It's the second most influential form of advertising, and there's more places to get reviews than ever before. I'll cover later on to show you guys how you guys can get more reviews, because I know that I have a little bit of a study that I've done that I have found that there's a direct correlation between your rankings and number of reviews and your bookings, and the higher the price of your trip, the more people are apt to look at your reviews before they book. There's a direct correlation, and I've definitely, we always, especially with my brother's company, and our price point is about, sorry folks, is about sorry, I'm having some operator errors here, is about 20, starts at $2,400. We always ask, how did you find us? And we also asked, what inspired you to book with us today? Really important question. You guys should write that one down. Ask when people call or email, how did you find us? But more importantly, what inspired them to choose you today? This is key, and you're going to find that a huge percentage of people, especially if you've been engaged with getting quality reviews, and I'm going to show you how you don't have to have it just in your on review sites, but how to leverage that into your website. Make a choice based on that. And number 3 is editorial content. Apparently there's some sort of animation feature that's behind the scenes in my PowerPoint that's magically advancing the slides for me, which is perfect because I have a lot in slides, and I definitely need to speed it up. So editorial is key. That's a big part of this. And blog posts, podcasts, videos, these are really influential. You don't have to have an article in a broadcast media anymore. You can be on someone's podcast. You can write your own articles. You can be interviewed. You have influencers and bloggers. There's so many opportunities. Again, these create a trust and authority. So here's I want to give you my defining credibility statement that allows you to communicate your experience, your quality, and safety in 7 seconds and less. And it's really a very simpler formula. And I've even had people say, I can't believe that this simple little thing is so powerful. And again, all of this combined, when you put it all together, it reinforces social proof and experience, and it taps into those top 3 elements that you guys, not only you guys voted on, but also what you saw was the secret, the Nielsen study also revealed that it was the most powerful form of advertising. So here it is. So you guys remember the big 3? Do you remember what it is? Experience, quality, and safety. And I have been involved with numerous types of tours where it is possible that someone could die, but it doesn't really matter whether that's a factor in what you guys do. People want to know that you are safety oriented in everything you do and or companies you recommend. That is key. So the defining credibility statement is broken down into two simple parts, and here they are. Number one, number of happy guests. This is you guys, you need to write down how many happy guests you've had. And you could just say number of guests, but ideally we only want to focus on the happy ones. And by the way, if you're getting a lot of unhappy guests, you need to work on your customer service before along with your sales conversion, maybe even first. So write that down. Number of happy guests. This is really key. And two, and plus the years in business or the founding year that you started your business. And so when you have this together, is that it establishes trust really fast. And I'm going to show you guys some examples of just how simple this is, but about how powerful it can be. Here's the same defining credibility statement, just done in two different ways. Over 20 years, 3,000 happy guests. Clearly, we've been in business, we're experienced, we have happy guests because we have quality trips, and clearly nobody died. I've just flipped it around and done it another way. You can see it's very clear, very concise, very short, and there's a reason why that is. Here's some other examples of other clients that I've had. Just flipping it around. Super simple, super concise, and it's very short for a reason. And I'm going to show you in a second why, and more importantly, where do you use this? Here's another one where we've now flipped it from not just how many happy guests we have, but wow, we also happen to be, we've been in business since 1989, and we're the #1 TripAdvisor specialty lodging. And that's key. Or now we're celebrating our 30 years, and we're now thousands of happy, and we're defining who our customers are. We've added just a little bit to it, so that not only does it give us credibility, but we're defining who we are and what we're doing. Let me show you some actual examples with online. Here is a client, a tour operator in Thailand that I work with. So look at this right up at the top here. Since 2004, thousands of happy guests right at the top of the website, upper left-hand corner. There's a couple other credibility elements in here that help give trust, but we're not going to cover those today. Let me give you some more examples. Here's my brother's website from a little while back, right at the top, since 1989, thousands of happy guests. Very clear, just again, why are we putting it right at the top of the page, folks? Think about it. Think about it. Why would we put it right at the top of the page, and ideally in the left-hand corner? I bet you most of you have figured it out, because most English-speaking people read top to bottom, left to right. And if your language is in a different, works a different way, I'd put it wherever people's eyes go first. And this is especially important on a mobile device. You want to know, you want to get that your experience, you run quality trips and safety-oriented right away. Speaking of safety, here's a type of business where people can get injured or worse. Look at this. Here's a little thing called 40+ years, best safety record. What is that? I call that a credibility icon, and that's one of the 10 secrets of creating trust very quickly in all your tourism marketing. Here's another example. Not only do they have a credibility statement, oops, let me back up on that. I was a little too fast on that one. Oops, let me go back. Credibility statement, 15,000 happy guests, 20 years, the certificates of excellence, 3 years in a row. Again, all of this reinforces experience. Why choose us? If you don't have one of these on your site, you're missing out, folks. You got to have a primary navigational page on your page that talks about why choose us, because that is exactly the question your travel shoppers are asking themselves. Don't they have a lot of choices these days? Heck yes. There's so many different, there's no place people can't go, things they can't do. Money is not really a problem. It's time. They're going to choose someone. Why not have them choose you? And if rafting, look at this, 45 years experience. Since founding in 74, we've safely guided over 293,000 guests down 3 million river miles. You can see in one sentence, they have nailed their experience, their quality, their credibility, their social proof, and their safety big time. A brilliant credibility, a defining credibility statement. Here's some other examples of where it was represented graphically. 300,000 plus 300,000 guests, family owned, actually adds credibility. And they've added what I call some descriptive text in a very simple way. Here's another one. Since 1989, World Travel for Groups, and they're saying what they do, to who, and since when. So I touched on this a little bit earlier, but this is a key element, is to where should you be placing your credibility statement? Above the fold, and that is the first viewable screen, folks. What I recommend is that you put it on the common header theme of your website, because does everyone show to your website on the homepage? Not necessarily. In fact, ideally, they don't. Not all traffic comes into your homepage. Some of it comes into interior pages because you've created good content that's usable, educational, and you've got traffic coming in there too. So you want to convince them, to let them know very quickly your experience, your quality, your safety oriented on every page. This is important. Upper left-hand corner, I mentioned this earlier, because English-speaking people read top to bottom, left to right. So why don't you hit them right immediately with your credibility statement. And you're going to see how you should be using, you can use it in your body copy too, and it can be expressed in a lot of different ways. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the top systems that we use, this defining credibility statement, but there is about 10 to 9 other methodologies that we have integrated into our tourism marketing that collectively have proven to convert more strangers into friends and friends into customers over time. But they all come down to social proof. So on these elements, whether it's defining credibility element or the trust seal I showed you, or your TripAdvisor reviews, you want to be using them everywhere, consistently throughout all your website marketing. And by the way, folks, this works everywhere too. This is not just about online. But since online is the primary method most people are finding us and learning about us and making choices about who you are and where they should be using you, you should really focus on your website first. So many of you might be asking, because we all start out somewhere, we're all beginners at some point in time, is say, hey, I haven't been around for years. I have not celebrated 30 years. I don't have all this experience and all these clients. What do I do? So this is you want to be ethical and you want to have integrity in everything you do, folks. But maybe you've got team members that you've hired that are guides, or you've hired other people in your industry that are far more experienced than you. Maybe some of the suppliers, the lodging that you're working with, the transportation companies, some of your subcontractors have more experience and credibility than you are, and you're packaging those services and lodging and transportation, and you can collectively combine that experience together, or you're recommending someone. Again, you want to be able to leverage the experience of your team, and also life experience. I mean, how many of you got into the tour business because you had a great passion for your area, your region, your sport? Or you worked for someone else and you gained all this experience. This life experience or previous work experience matters a lot. And so your life experience, awards. Sorry, that was my timer to let me know that I'm approaching the hour. Professional licenses, these matter. These matter a lot. And there's other ways. You know, are you making donations? I mentioned family owned. I've seen repeat guest rate and referral rate mentioned in copy and in ads and on websites. How socially responsible are you? Are you are you an expert or an authority in a particular topic? Have you published a book? These are all things that add up to credibility. And let me show you some examples of how we've collectively integrated your suppliers and your life experience. 22 years of combined sea kayaking expertise. You know, and you know, if you've been working in or living in Alaska, and you and your husband collectively or business partner have got, you know, 47 years of experience in outdoor expertise, that matters, folks. That's what people are buying. They're buying your expertise. It doesn't matter that you weren't doing it officially with clients. You're bringing that to bear on your business. Here's some other forms of credibility statements. Again, whether you have experience or not. You know, you can see the you know, emergency medical technician certified. That could be a key thing if you're taking people into the foothills of the Andes. So again, I'm hoping you guys can start to see that these are ways that you can leverage your personal and professional experience and your team's experience or your supplier's experience to create these short, concise statements that communicate trust, experience, safety, social proof, super, super fast. So, as I mentioned earlier, you know, is this, if you put this one thing on your website, will this transform your life? It can make a huge difference, and I've seen it make a huge difference with people's business. But I'd be misleading you guys to say that is the secret weapon. That's the only thing that you can do that creates trust, experience, safety, quality. There is about 10 other tactics and places of ways we've integrated this into our website marketing, and it's, you know, guarantees, trust seals, the certificates and licenses, the testimonials, the videos, audios, articles, and it goes on and on and on. There's all these different ways to not only the what to do it, but more importantly, how to do it is key. How you integrated this into your website can make a huge difference. Earlier, I mentioned to you that I wanted to introduce you to a client. This is Doreen Toller. Typical person, had no experience in tourism, started with a small little tour company in Alaska doing multi-sport soft eco-adventure bus tours, had huge competitions among the train lines and the cruise lines doing similar sort of trips. She was really struggling, but she started to apply. She bought my original tourism marketing success guidebook years, gosh, probably 15 years ago, maybe. And wow, her sales went up right away, 45% in 1 year. And then her sales in the second year up an additional 23%. And what did that mean to Doreen? That meant an increase and this wasn't her first year. This was the first year after her starting to apply this to her marketing. So I just want to qualify that. But what it meant was, wow, she made an extra $192,000 in 18 months. How many of you could use an extra $192,000? And needless to say, she was super happy about that. And because she's been such a star, and because she represents so many that were just like you and me, and that are these small to medium-sized tour operators, I keep tracking Doreen. How's she doing? Maybe you've heard her on my podcast, Travel Business Success. I've interviewed her at least twice to talk about her experience and how did she have these phenomenal growths, and what did that mean to her business, and what did it mean for her quality of life. And one of the things that Doreen told me is that because people are showing up to her website, are so convinced that she's safe, experienced, and runs quality trips super fast, that when they're calling to to, you know, with some questions or this or that, they're booking so much faster, and she's getting so many more quality leads. Her occupancy rate has gone way, way up. And, you know, she's low tech. She doesn't have a booking system. She just has this sheet that she uses, and she's in a, and she told me about it, that, you know, when they book, she just writes booked on there. And and so I asked her to send me a copy of this, and you can see that, you know, there's a group of 6, there's a group of 14, a group of 8, book, 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 book. And, you know, it's been worth, you know, as you can see, a lot of money to her in a short period of time. So let me give you guys some tools I promised you that will help move you along the path. It's some next steps that you should be looking at. This is a free 25-point website checklist and guide, and I've got it broken down by about 7 or 8 different primary categories, and I think it's a 1 through 4 or 1 through 5 drop-down rating, and you rate yourself on how you stand, and on your home page, and you go through this whole thing, and it will give you an immediate score of where you rank relevant to your competition and other people in this industry. I highly recommend this. tinyurl.com/tour-website-checklist. That will take you to my website assessment. It kind of looks like this. The one that I'm going to send you to is a little bit different, but it's the same exact form. It's really, really key. Let's kind of do a little bit of a summary here, and then I'm going to give you guys some more suggestions. We talked about, and I hope that you guys get that that lowering your bounce rate and increasing your conversions is the formula for more bookings, more profits, and you're going to lower your marketing costs. And one cool thing about marketing costs and advertising costs, folks, is, and especially when it comes down to advertising, is if you can get a lower cost per acquisition of a client, especially if you're paying for advertising, and you're making more money for every lead and that you're generating, you can afford to spend more for that ad, and often you can outbid your competitors. And in pay-per-click advertising, this is the secret to millions. This is what the top internet marketers in the world, they do. That's all about how can we increase our conversion and lower our marketing costs so that we can spend more to acquire a client, and that's how we can scale faster. So let's move on here. So we've also talked about, you know, about trust and how critical that is and really the psychology. You know, I really hope that you guys understand and really start integrating psychology and trust into everything you do. I gave you one of my best secrets today which was step 1 of, you know, how to create with the defining credibility statement. And this is step 1 of about 9. And I just gave you just a small sampling of how to put them together, what they look like, where you can do it. But I truly hope that you guys will write these down and start applying it to your business tomorrow. But again, it's not just about that, you know, and I can't give you everything just today because I don't have the time, and this is something that takes some training. And so if it's all right with you, I would like to recommend some next steps, all focused again on how you can increase leads, your booking conversions, lower your marketing costs, which increases your profit. And by the way, it's web focused, but this works like magic offline too. So some of you may have seen my course that I've had for years on tourism marketing success, and it's great. And it's step by step, and it's got videos and this and that. But what I know is that the power of having live training where we can have Q&A, where we can have discussions, where we can fine tune how you apply this to your website and all your marketing makes the hugest difference. And so I've decided, because I like training and I don't do it that often. It's really where I can help you guys the most. I've decided to create a live, a 3-part series of live interactive webinars where we're going to dig into all 10 parts of how to create a travel website that sells. We're going to dig in deep to the whole process. And it starts with the live interactive webinar. And this is a training, folks, and and I'm going to bring in also special guests and peers who have applied this to their marketing. Maybe we can get Doreen on, who she can really share with what her experience has been. And by the way, it's Doreen's business has gone from about let me see, she started at about 20,000 in sales her first year, and she's now well into 7 figures in her business. Takes 2 vacations a year, has hired staff, and her quality of life and for her and Bob, her husband, has been transformed. But we're not just going to leave this course that I'm going to share with you guys is not just about the live webinar. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to dive deep into these proven principles and how it applies to all your marketing. We're going to focus on the big 3 that were mentioned in the survey, and how can we get more referrals and really get your best clients selling for you in reviews and direct recommendations. I'm going to show you how you can generate far more leads that come to your website, because frankly, most of us know that the vast majority of people coming to our website are coming and leaving. So, and if you could, when you capture more of those people on your website in the form of generating, creating quality leads, and you can then develop those leads over time, you will increase your bookings. I'm going to show you how to increase your reviews, your rankings, and your quality leads. There are definite, very specific systems we've developed that when you apply this to your marketing, you will increase your ranking. And I've seen TripAdvisor alone transform that business in Thailand, LJ Biz. They lost a lot of their Google ranking one year because Google had a new algorithm change, and they lost tons of organic ranking. Luckily, we'd been working on their TripAdvisor review ranking, and we had moved them up from like a number of 79 up to 7. And they ended up having their best off-season year ever in the history of their business, even though they lost half their Google ranking. And it was because of what we did with social media reviews, and I'll be sharing that system with you. Webmasters, I love them and I hate them. I have seen too many webmasters destroy and hurt tourism website marketing because they're so busy trying to make something pretty and nice and put in all the latest whistles, buzzers, and bells. They forget that the primary reason for you to have a website is to sell trips, to sell tours, to put heads in beds, butts in boats. And webmasters don't get it. And what I'm going to give you in this new course is something that you could share with them and get them on board, as well as your team. We're going to do some hot seats. This is last time I launched this course. I had many people tell me this was one of the most important, powerful things that we did during the course. Is to not only to put your website on display, and it will be, and not only am I giving you recommendations, but other peers that have been in the course with you can make recommendations too. And not only can they share, but they're learning too, that, wow, that was a really, really great idea that Sarah did. Wow, I could do that as well. And so it's super powerful. And again, all of this is going to be recorded. I want to have dialogue. I want to have a community of people who are all engaged and focused on the same exact thing, how to increase your bookings. And we're all helping each other. So I want to tell you what's in this program. Okay, so we're going to just laser through this, and I'm going to kind of give you a quick breakdown of what's in it, and then I'm going to do the Q&A, and as promised, I'll announce the drawing too. So it's super simple. This guide is concise and powerful, and frankly, you could, if you just started with this and you just read this and you started to apply it, you would be halfway there. It's got tons of examples that you could swipe right out of there and apply to your website. I've got this checklist that's super powerful. That again, I like checklists because there's a lot of things that go into this, and you want to make sure that all aspects of your website that sells is covered, so that you can have the most powerful site possible. The live trainings right now, it's going to be at least 3 of those. I might add more, but it's going to be 3. I'll do whatever it takes to get you guys covered. We'll have an online community associated with this. We're going to do the hot seats, as I mentioned, and I'm putting down a value. If we just did each one of these things independently, this is what I would charge for them. But doing them independently would not be the most powerful, helpful way I can assist you guys. We're going to record all of this because there's going to be a lot of stuff, and I'm going to want you guys. You're going to want to review them over and over again, and more importantly, share it with your team, share it with your webmasters, reference it, use it moving forward. So, and then I've decided to take from my some of these coaching videos that I've done with clients, including Doreen and my brother, where we are going deep into their website and we're looking exactly what was working, what wasn't, and how exactly did we change it to create more trust, experience, credibility, social proof. How can we integrate that in everything we're doing? Again, tons of places where you can go, oh my God, that is such a great idea. I'm going to swipe that idea and put that in my marketing. Super powerful. And these are, and the videos are short and concise, and you can, and this is golden. And I decided to add this just last night to this program. And so you can see if you added all of these things up, there's a lot of value here. And so I'm really interested in providing tons of value and tons of resources and being there for you guys. And you know, I didn't put myself in there, but at the end of the day, I am behind all of this. And I hope that you guys can see, and you know, you can look me up online. I would suggest you do a Google search for Tourism Tim Warren. You will see I've been around the block a few times, and I know what I'm talking about. And I've helped a lot of people make a lot of money in this industry, and I'm real proud of that. But I am a part of this package, and I will be behind everything. So so you might be wondering, well, how much is this? You know, so I boiled it all down. I want to make this easy, acceptable, and affordable for everybody. And you know, and at the end of the day, I would ask, if I were you, I would be thinking, you might ask yourself, how many new people would I have to sell to pay to earn an additional $397? For some of us, it might be 10. For some of us, it might be a half a person. And that's just you know, one time. And then and ask yourself, how many people, if I increase my bookings just 10%, forget 100%, if I increase my bookings 10% a month, a year, how much would that be worth to you? Probably far, far, far more than $397. So I want you guys to see that this is an unbelievable deal for the value that you can benefit. I mean, look what Doreen did. Look what my brother did. I mean, his business does almost $1 million a year, and on a very low capacity trip. We can't run a lot of people, but we have a high price point, and we have a real high occupancy rate, and we sell out practically every year. So I have decided to give some incentive, and I want you guys to take action, because if you don't show up and if you don't start invest in yourself to learn this, to grow, you're going to be, tomorrow you're going to have the same exact experience you've had over and over. Yeah, you can apply the credibility statement to your site, and I highly recommend you do that, but there's more to it. And so I've decided that besides the hot seats, I wanted to have some office hours where you could log in, and you can ask questions, we could look at your website, and all of us can brainstorm, and we could work together on advancing, whether it's an ad you're running or a particular page you've just redesigned or some new aspect of a video you did or any of that. I'm going to be available. We're going to have at least 2 of those where it's wide open on Q&A, and including sharing your screen so that we can dig in and fine tune your marketing, because you can get a long way by just going in this course and never asking a question, but the power of getting it fine tuned could double the effectiveness. And then I've got another training that I did that I thought was particularly powerful, that really spoke to what makes some business more successful, more valuable. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to exit someday. So you might as well do it on your terms and build a business that has real value and actually makes you more money and is more fun. At the end of the day, it's more valuable too. I'm going to include that training in this program. And as you can see, when you add it all together, there's a ton of value there. And there's the URL that you can get. Again, I'm going to give those bonuses, the last two bonuses, and I think the live video coaching calls are invaluable. It's going to be to the first 10 people who get this course. And I am, by the way, doing at least another webinar, maybe two in the next week. And I've got a few people that will be promoting this webinar that you're in right now too. So if you want to get those bonuses and you want to get this price, and I would recommend that you be one of the first 10. So there it is, the tinyurl.com/double-tourism-bookings. I will send you to when we're done with this webinar, I'll send you right to the page where you can register for the course. If technology works, you will get it. And I had mentioned that there was going to be one lucky winner when we finished this, and I will draw someone from the attendees to this webinar, and we'll give out my original Tourism Marketing Success course, and I'm going to make it more valuable because I will actually, once you go through the course a little bit, and you'll see that there's some synergy between this course and the one we just talked about, I will actually do some VIP one-on-one website coaching with you where we're looking at conversions. So now is the time for Q&A, and I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to end this show. And
this is Sabrina. You do have, Sarah asked, she noticed that the poll that you have up was 2011, and she asked, do you think it has changed much since online has exploded?
Thank you. I appreciate that, and actually, I did manage to get the chat window open in the background here, and let me see if I can end my show here and address that question a little bit. But it's a great question, and what I can tell you, Sarah, and everybody is that social proof and what influences people. That book, Influence, that I showed you earlier, that was written 25 years ago and has been updated since. And what they have found is that the social proof and those top three hasn't changed at all. So it's still very valid. And I'm trying to see, there's no open questions, but you can go into the chat. Yeah, I see. So I'm here, folks. What questions do you have? Come on, you can either do it in the chat window, which seems to be working, which is what I've got open, or you can do the Q&A. But what questions do you have about your website marketing? What has been your experience? Do you agree or disagree with what I'm putting out there as far as the psychology of travel shoppers and really what influences them? Because at the end of the day, folks, you could have the best tour in the world into the most incredible places, and your pricing can be awesome and even better than competitors. But if those people that are visiting your website or looking at your marketing message are not convinced very quickly that you're the best choice, they're going to be booking with your competitors, period. There's all kinds of choices out there. So come on, throw some questions at me. I love answering questions. And I see that there's still 10 people on this call. So I'm going to stick around for another a few minutes here and hope that someone asks me a question about their marketing. And if I would really, really, really encourage you that if there's anything that you've seen today that has inspired you, had given you an aha moment, has helped you see that perhaps you might be missing the mark in your tourism marketing messaging, and that the lessons that I've shared and the course that I'm offering could be a pathway to help you. I highly recommend it. My program is guaranteed. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee on it. So it's really a no-risk situation, folks. I've been doing this a real long time. I'm not just a consultant. I am still a tour operator with my brother, and my wife could really could tell you so. So it's.
Has a question here.
I can just see that. I thank you, Sabrina. I can now in the chat. Is it in the chat window?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that now. Thank you. From Julio. Thank you, Julio. Julio, it says, in my experience, website marketing is very important. I have lost sales to OTA selling my product. People don't buy direct. Yeah, one of the reasons that, why do you think one of the reasons that someone might buy your buy your product on an online travel agent? Think about it. What does Expedia have, or Get Your Guide or TripAdvisor? What do they have that you don't? They have credibility, they have authority, they have experience, and people, if they don't know who you are, or they don't see that you're experienced, quality, and safe right away on your website, they're going to go to a place where where there's a sense of authority and expertise that they're making a good decision. It's so true, and I'm glad you brought that up, Julio. And what sucks about them buying on an OTA, although I like distribution channels, it's good to have multiple channels, is you're going to pay potentially a lot of money in commission, and so it's far more profitable to book direct. So imagine that if you're getting a bunch of business from OTA nows, and you were able to reduce that by 10 or 20% and increase that direct bookings to you. Your profit's going to go way up. So that's another way that profit can be increased. So excellent point. OTAs are great, but getting people to buy direct is better because it's more profitable, and generally, especially if they're calling in or you're having an email dialogue, you can make sure that they're qualified. Is it a good match for your trips or tours or your lodging? Not all, as many of you know, not all guests that we have on our trips are a good match, and those people can become a problem. And so it's really important to qualify your customers or your potential customers and make sure that they are the right match. So we got a good question here from Mary H. Goody. What social media applies to which age range of tourists? Has this changed down the years? It has changed. And my sense is that if we know that social media is nothing more than millions of people giving their reviews and opinions online, then we know that we want to be involved with them. And I don't know. And so my answer to that question would be, I would be involved in every social media channel that is in alignment with your target market. And it is changing. And like Instagram, someone might say, well, that used to be, for younger people. Well, what I think I like about Instagram is that we're at a visual space, folks. Travel is the most awesome visual space. And so if you've got cool pictures or short videos to share, you should be there. Facebook rocks. You got billions of people all there. You should be building your presence as an authority, as an expert, as a helpful resource. Telling your story is really good. I would be involved with the social media that applies to your best target market. So yeah, images and visuals are important. Especially if that's the modality of that social media, then that's what you're doing. But also, if that's what you're able to capture, if you're a photographer, or you've got your guides that are great photographers, or you're actively staying connected with your guests after they leave, which you should be, which is one of the secrets of increasing your referrals, and getting pictures from them. I mean, that's all. And videos I get some of the best pictures, videos from guests, not what we take. and sharing them socially or getting them to share it and tagging friends, and super powerful. And again, when you get your guests sharing their photos and images, especially in Facebook, and if they've got a lot of contacts, that's one of the secrets to getting your guests selling for you. It's super powerful, and they convert at a very high rate. So how about it? We got some more questions here. I still see we got some people on this call. I mean, give me some feedback. What did you really like about this workshop, and what did you find most useful? I'm going to scroll down here. It looks like, did we get another question here? No, not yet. I'm going to see if there's a Q&A going on. Nope. It's all happening in the chat world, which is fine. I'm going to stick around just a couple more minutes. You guys have been great. I really appreciate you sticking around. I really hope that this was helpful. I really hope that you guys will sign up for this program, because I would look forward to working much deeper with you, helping you fine-tune all of your tourism marketing messaging, starting with your website, because it really is the key to generating more leads, lowering your bounce rate, increasing your conversions, and all with the same amount of traffic. And when you guys increase your conversion rate and you lower your marketing costs, then this is the magic formula behind scaling, because then you can start affording to buy more traffic, to do more SEO, you essentially increase your quality traffic, because your conversion rate is higher. And and you'll be able to outbid your competitors. All right, we got another. Okay, cool. Thank you, Julio. The credibility statement examples you shared helped me a lot. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's there. When I first did this with Doreen, and she looked at it, and she even says in a video testimonial I've got from her that's somewhere out there, that says, when I first did this, it just seemed too simple. I couldn't believe that this would make a difference. That's exactly her words. And she's an Alaskan, she's independent, she likes to do it herself. She thought she knew it all, but she trusted my experience, and she started applying her website, and she said, I could believe how much more our inquiries went up, how much more our bookings went up, how much more easier it was to sell someone, to get them to give me money. And her trips are, they're up there, and they're well over $1,000 each. So it's amazingly powerful, the credibility statement, but it's not the only thing. There are other ways that you must have social proof throughout your website, throughout your videos, even in your images. There's ways to do that so that collectively it influences your people to choose you. I've got a question from Mary Goody. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. What about social media incorporated in your website? Absolutely. I mean, are you using TripAdvisor? I hope. Or some of the other, or even Facebook, where people are giving reviews or comments. Absolutely. There are widgets that you can install on your site that feed directly in the content off of those sites. But unless you're getting near 95% all awesome reviews all the time, and even the best of us have bad reviews every once in a while. I mean, we're human, and we're in the service business, and we're dealing with human beings, so stuff happens. What I do like to do, Mary, is I like to take snapshots of reviews, whether it's Facebook or TripAdvisor or wherever, and actually take the content or a snapshot of that review and put it on my website. Especially, I do something I call a headline testimonial, and it's one of the things we'll cover in our course, where I excerpt a particular sentence or two that I feel it summarizes the high-level experience that they had on their trip, and I put that down there, and who they are and where they're from, and often if I have a picture of them, accompany a picture. Because remember, when we're looking at recommendations from people or people like you, if you have a quote, a drop quote, or a testimonial from someone, and let's say you're serving a active senior market, and some of you, the senior market, they're not all buffed out, and some of them might be a little overweight, or some might be a little physically challenged, and you have a quote from someone that is a little older, a little physically challenged, maybe a little overweight, and you know that one of your questions that you get from prospects is, wow, I'm a little overweight, I'm a little decrepit, I'm not sure I can do this trip. Is it too difficult for me? And if you get a quote from someone, because you helped direct the quotes, and this is another secret I'll share in the course, and the quote says something like, I was concerned that I couldn't do this trip, it was too active for me, but it was great, the staff was awesome and really helped me out, I highly recommend it. Boom. Not only have we gotten a testimonial from a great testimonial, we also incorporated a picture of that. It looks a lot like someone who might be considering your trip. And third, we addressed a top concern that the prospect on that particular trip might have been asking before when considering to go with you. This is super powerful. So Mary says, I use images from my Instagram on my email signature too. Absolutely. And I'll give you guys another little secret. Remember the credibility statement? Short, powerful, concise. Could you use that in your email statement? You better. Remember, folks, this is not just about the website, but it's about constantly communicating social proof everywhere, at all times, constantly reinforcing it. So I invented the defining credibility statement to be used everywhere, all the time, at every situation. It works. I've used it in trade show marketing. We use it in print and paid advertising, online advertising, websites, email signatures, taglines and groups, on and on and on and on. It's unbelievably powerful. So I'm going to wrap this thing up in like 1 minute. So if you've got a question, ask me the question now. Otherwise, go over and I can't. I really encourage you guys to go get my course. When I'm done with the live version of this, that course will go up in price, probably $200 or $300. But you guys are helping me create a new product, and you're helping me teach at a different level. And more importantly, you'll be able to help yourself advance your tourism business dream. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I am going to do this webinar again next week on the 8th or the 9th, I think. I can't remember. And at a different time for people over in Asia and over my friends over in Australia.